Oh, it's the angle of the jangle, dude. A little case sauce up in this piece. About to make its way bareback into the EF. And now I'm sure that this won't get monetized because I said bareback. But, well, welcome to the show. So K20 is ready to rock. I'll update you in a second on the fact that I changed engines from the last episode. That's a K20 4A4. This is a K20 Z1. But before that, I want to clue you in on the trailing arm situation with some stuff I filmed at work the other day. So check that out first. All right, so the last video, I showed you guys these arms and the parts. Wait for this to turn off. I'll be right back. We'll have to get away from the old compressor, go next to this 1,000 horsepower 370Z. So, the last video I showed you the individual parts of these trailing arms. This plate was separate, and on the back side, you can see this adapter, this hub plate was separate. And I was mistaken, I thought it was a bolt-in kit. It's not, but it's not like a crazy over-the-top job you have to do. But S1, I'll put their video, their tutorial video in the comments as well. But this hole for the old hub has to get opened up. This piece has to get welded. They have this, and this hole will line up with existing hub bolts. Again, if you look in the comments, it'll show the video that they have up there. And so this does have to get welded. It's not a bolt together kit. The hub itself will bolt to this piece, which I'll show you in a little bit here. But the backside, you can see it's been stitch welded all the way around. And then once this is complete, and this area right here is boxed in, we're gonna go ahead and take this to powder coat and get it ready for install. But again, I thought it was bolt-in. That's my fault. It's not a bolt-in kit. It's a weld-together kit, which is why it is a DIY kit. What Michael's doing, I'll show you on this one, is opening up these holes. You can see in there, those holes do not line up. These are the existing hub holes. And what he's doing is drilling through the backside so that these holes will be a pass-through so that we can bolt the hubs to them. Look at that stance. Look at that stance, man. He is getting after it. Give it a shake. There it is, boy. All right, so to revisit. Plate, welded. Hub is welded. We still have to box that side in. Other than that, test fitting the hubs. These are the hubs that they send you as well. So these are the main components. Get you going. Let's see what we got here. Goes into the front, and you can see that this is threaded, so these bolts will actually go in through the back of the control arm or the trailing arm to hold that hub in place. Woo! Now you're all caught up. It's a little sniffly out here. I think I'm coming down with a sickness. Hopefully it's not the Rona. But now you got that sorted, and you probably hopefully understand that, because I didn't understand it. I do now. We have to get all this stuff together to drop drivetrain in. The rear hubs aren't a huge concern of mine to get in right now installed, because I still need to take them up the road to get powder coated and a couple other things powder coated, but I need to get the drivetrain into the car to continue forward motion. Without the engine and trans in the car, I can't wire the engine. So that has to be kind of like numero uno, is get that sucker in there, plumb fuel lines, all the brake lines, keep everything away from heat, stuff like that. So I'm gonna break down additional parts I have today and tally up kind of where I'm at cost-wise and let you guys know what I have. So originally this, actually not this, that K24A4 is what was gonna go in the car. After like doing 3.5 seconds of research, those are trash. They're good for like 450. People make 550 and they jerk themselves off on YouTube about how much power they make. But in all honesty, it's trash motor with trash everything. It's a pile of trash. You can use the block. The block's the same, so if you want to build a K-Series, buy a 24A4, just use the block, the hard parts, but the head, throw in the trash. I mean, it's good, it flows a lot, but it doesn't have VTEC on both cams, just a pile of trash. Find a trash dumpster, pile of trash, throw it in the trash, and pick up something other than that. Like this, I got a K20 Z1, which everybody on the internet tells me is good for boost, and I hope you guys aren't liars, but I scooped this K20 Z1 local, and I'm gonna be chucking it in there. Also, dude named Luigi, God, I hope that's the right name. He sells all-wheel drive transmissions. All the rags are from some oil from something else, not from this transmission. But for under $1,000 shipped, I got a CRV all-wheel drive transmission, That bubble wrappy thing right there is the transfer case. I also picked up this RBC intake manifold. I guess these are good. I don't know. Someone told me they're good, so I got one of those with a throttle body from the same person I bought the engine from. So shout out CJ, appreciate that. But transmission gets bolted up to engine once I get, well, if you can see it next to my Tidy Cats, the clutch installed. I hate working in a messy garage, and honestly, the reason it's so cluttered is because I bought so many. Oh, ooh, that's a splitter. That's a cracked splitter. That's a cracked splitter 9000. I bought so many parts so quickly, and it just overran the garage. So hopefully I can get some of this stuff cleared out, at least into the engine bay, and we can organize and get some of this junk cleaned out. But today's mission is getting clutch onto engine, trans onto engine, engine into car. That's what I'm hoping to do today. It's very cold, and I refuse to use old propano, mainly because I'm almost out of propane and I don't want to go to the gas station. Also, just before I forget, because I don't want to forget, the transmission was bought from Luigi Montanez on the K-board. So you go to k20a.org on Facebook, that group. If you look up Luigi, this dude was the best seller I've ever bought from. And if you're the prick that told me you'd sell me the whole dropout out of your Element and then just stop responding to my text messages, I mean, I said what I need to say. You're just a prick. You're a straight up prick. So go back to Prickterville where you live, you prick. Because even we talked about in the messages how we hate getting screwed by people not doing the right thing, you prick. Man, oh, I forgot all about that prick. I do hope that he's not like in a ravine somewhere or like crushed by the car as he was working on it, and that's why he didn't respond. So if that's the case, please ignore what I just said. It was just an unfortunate circumstance. And I'm sorry, but I don't think that's what the case was, if I'm guessing. If I'm lobbing up a pass, I'm passing it straight to Prickville, where Captain Doesn't Respond lives. Whew, man. All right, competition stage right underneath the $1 million twin disc. I'm not sure what this is. Single disc. It was the stage 5, I think. I can't remember. But either way, single disc comps on there. Nice surface rusty flywheel. That'll do the job. I'm not worried about it. Now we got to get the transmission onto this. You got to lower the cranium and then just get it all up in there. Is the plan. Okay, all right. So we got a trans the way hooked up. It came with these Downstar bolts, I think is the brand. I don't understand. I guess like if you're dressing up like a show engine bay, but now I'm kind of like stuck with red, and I'm like not so sure I want red. That's my only beef so far, and the fact that putting a transmission onto an engine that's on an engine hoist with a floor trans jack is the worst. But we got it hooked up, clutch installed. I got to get the transfer case bolted up somewhere in this pile, and then we can slide the engine into the engine bay, hopefully. I'm sure though, I'll drop it in here and there'll be like a million things in the way that I didn't research well enough, and it's going to piss me off. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be hilarious. So look at this Fitment. Oh my God. Look at how tight this thing is. Holy hell. This is a bad idea. But usually good content comes from bad ideas. I'm really concerned with the fact that that is already touching though. So I'm sure I have a ton of cutting and fitting to do, which sucks. All right, I lied. Actually, it does fit. You just got to take a sledgehammer and beat the shiz nickel tabernacle double dog dare you to say the curse word Logan, so you get banned from YouTube, just like you got banned from Facebook. So you just gotta massage some stuff. So the subframe is really close to where the transfer case bolts, and I didn't think there was even close to a prayer. The Pope himself could be here, and that bitch was not gonna fit. But it does. The angle, the dangle, when you get the angle just right, it sinks in and under the subframe. But there's one mount that does not work. Like I said, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this rear mount needs to, well, typically it'll bolt to the back of this trans with a little dog bone and a bracket. However, I don't have that because I have a front wheel drive Hasport kit. So I need to order a couple pieces for the rear to bolt in just right. And then on the back side, you can see that area right there, move my finger. This right here is where the transfer case will bolt to. So I can test fit that stuff. But in the meantime, having the engine in the engine bay is extremely helpful because now I can start running wiring and things of that nature, mount fuel pressure regulator, so on and so forth. I will still have to yank the fuel tank out of the car, and you can see previous owner had sumped it because they had a turbo K-series in here before, but I'm gonna pull that out and I'll go to a fuel cell in the trunk so that my drive shaft has room from the front to the back. But all in all, I'm pretty stoked to see it like this. I know it's not a ton of progress. It's minor stuff, but at the same time, it is helpful to keep moving along and to keep momentum going to get stuff like this done. Now, being the true Reiseroo that I am, which is German for Reiser, I had to test fit the intake manifold. First of all, I promised myself I wouldn't do an RBC intake because then I won't be able to close the hood. And then I bought an RBC intake anyway, and there's no way in hell the hood's gonna fit. Like, I do not have a prayer. Go back to the old Pope conversation. I also bolted up my turbo manifold that I need to clean up, and it clears by a see you next Tuesday hair. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, if you were wondering, like it's gonna suck not having a hood. And then manifold too. Tempest Racing built the manifold. This came off of a local kid's CRX. Well, he bought the CRX and I bought the turbo kit from him, but just cleared the trans with that, with the wastegate, which is awesome. So that clears, turbo will mount right there. And then obviously front mount and radiator and stuff still have to go in. But just to get a layout, obviously nothing's bolted up in terms of intake and header, or manifold, but just to get an idea of how this thing is gonna look, I'm pretty stoked on how it's gonna lay out. Very exciting stuff. And the more and more I mess with this project, the more I realize how heinous it's gonna be. So if this combo makes the power it should make, if we put 500 to the tire, even with this, I bought a very small turbo, so 450 to 500 to the tire. Everyone's shooting for 1,000 wheel horsepower. Everybody needs to make 4 digits, me, myself included. This car, at the current weight it is, making 450 to 500 wheel is gonna be a freaking rocket ship. And just a ton of fun on the street. So I'm very, very excited at the promise that this chassis has. And for the first time in a long time, I'm having fun again with this stuff, which I'm sure will last 3 or 4 minutes and then I'll sell the car. But in the meantime, I'll make some videos with it. Thanks for watching. Clapped.com/store. We sold out of our hoodies. We did a 50 or 100, I don't even know how many we ordered, but they sold out immediately. We were gonna order more apparel and get that stuff rolling. Do not feel obligated to buy, and feel completely fine skipping the ads in these videos. I don't care, I hate ads too. So if you hit the skip button, you're not hurting my feelings. Thank you guys so much.